monthly.
Yeah.
But I ended up like I'm driving to Wadena and I'm driving to Little Falls and I'm driving to Staples and it's just like Long Prairie. And for you to
No,
Long
we're
Prairie, what is
within
it
a minute.
40 miles.
40 round trip?
No, 41 way.
Oh, so you're getting 80 every round here, so you're probably getting more than I am.
Riding a bike.
per month.
Probably. That's what we're doing. We gotta come back every. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think we're. Yeah, you're good.
Good morning. Today, we're gonna start the board meeting. Today is June 3rd, 2025, Board of Commissioners regular meeting. Time is 9 o'clock. We're gonna call the order. All commissioners besides Commissioner Bob Byers are present. Our auditor treasurer's present and county coordinator. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, with that, we'll get going here. Is there any amendments to the agenda today?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we will be adding 4.8, authorized to hire Public Works summer help, Chet Hudala, and 4.9, hire Jessica Moore, Resource Conservation, and then also we're adding a 9 as 9.1 for the Todd County Board of Commissioners to discuss the item in regards to Sanctuary County.
Sounds great, thank you very much. We'll go to item number 4, our potential consent items.
I'll make a motion to approve
sorry.
the amended agenda.
Sorry. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Thank you much. Motion by Mr. Noska, second by Barb Becker. And now we'll go on to potential consent items.
Perfect. Today we have.
We gotta approve that.
We gotta vote.
Oh, geez.
Motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, ayes have it. Now, we'll go to potential consent items. Thank you.
We'll get through this.
Yeah,
Today's items would be the meeting minute approval for May 20th, 21st, and 28th of 2025. A gambling permit for National Wild Turkey Federation Stratton Blackbirds event to be 8/15/2025. Hire clerical records intern Eli Johnson, start date to be determined. Hire Ross Bolin, part-time jailer, start date to be determined. Hire Chad Link, part-time deputy, start date to be determined. Hire Colton Guttenkoff, full-time road deputy, start date to be determined. Hire Solid Waste, seasonal hire, Nathan Ruda, start date to be determined. And then the other two that we added, authorized to hire Public Works summer help, Chet Hudala, and hiring Jessica Moore as our resource conservation intern. And that is all we have for consent items.
okay, thank you. You've heard the potential consent items. Can I get a motion to approve them?
I'll make the motion for approval.
Commissioner
I'll
Becker.
second it.
Commissioner Becker with the motion, Commissioner Newman with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, we're on to Auditor Treasurer, number 5.
Auditor warrants, background is sent for review. Recommendation is to approve the May 2025 auditor warrants with an ACH and a manual payment totaling the amount of $14,932,668.28.
Okay, well, you heard the auditor warrants. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the auditor warrants.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Newman. Roll call?
Commissioner Noska?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Denny?
Yes.
Thank you. The next item I have would be the commissioner warrants. Background is sent for review. Recommendation is to approve the commissioner warrants with an ACH and a manual payment totaling the amount of $36,407.47.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the commissioner warrants here?
I'll make that motion for approval of the commissioner warrants.
Commissioner Becker, can I get a second?
Second.
By Commissioner Noska. Roll call on those as well.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Noska?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Commissioner Denny?
Yes.
The next item I have is the Health and Human Service Commissioner warrants. Background is sent for review. Recommendation is to approve the Health and Human Service Commissioner warrants with an ACH and a manual payment totaling the amount of $79,286.35.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the Health and Human Service Commissioner warrants?
So moved.
Commissioner Newman, can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. Roll call on those as well.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Nazca?
Yes.
Commissioner Denny?
Yes.
Next item I have then is the Health and Human Service SSIS warrants. Background is sent for review. Recommendation is to approve the Health and Human Service SSIS warrants with an ACH and a manual payment totaling in the amount of $125,677.38.
Can I get a motion to approve the Health and Human Services SSIS warrants?
I will motion to approve.
Commissioner Nazca, can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. Roll call on those ones.
Commissioner Nazca?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Commissioner Denny?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to the ditch inspector, Nancy. Good morning.
Morning.
Morning, Nancy.
I got two agenda items this morning. The first one is the County Ditch 32 hold harmless agreement for ditch maintenance. The background has been sent for your review. Options are approve the hold harmless agreement or do not approve the hold harmless agreement. The recommendation, the Todd County Board of Commissioners approves the following by motion. Acting as ditch authority approves a hold harmless agreement application from Caroline Beckman and Allison McGinty to maintain approximately 3,440 feet of lateral 3 on CD 32 that is located on parcels 24-001600, 24-001630, and 24-001640, Turtle Creek Township, Section 17. This maintenance will be done on their own property and at their own expense.
Perfect. Can I get a motion for approval of the hold harmless agreement on County Ditch 32?
I'll motion to approve.
Commissioner Nazca with a motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Becker with a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you. Second item is a County Ditch 40 lateral 2 brush spraying. Background, I sent the aerial photo, the photos, and the estimate from Central Applicators. And the background of this is the County Ditch 40 lateral 2 maintenance project was completed in September of 2024. As planned, the deep section of ditch was excavated, but we did not grub the brush on the south side of the ditch, so the root base can hold the bank to prevent erosion. The trees on the south side were cut and the root base was left for the same reason. We now need to spray the brush in the deep section of ditch and spray the sparse brush on the south side of the remainder of the ditch. The contractor estimate is higher because of the extra time that may be needed to spray the deep section of ditch. If the job is completed in less time, the cost will be adjusted. Options are approve the estimate or do not approve the estimate. Recommendation, the Todd County Board of Commissioners approves the following by motion. Acting as ditch authority, approves Central Applicator's estimate of $2,499.16 for brush spraying of lateral 2 on County Ditch 40. And financial implications is the $2,499.16, and the funding source will be the County Ditch 40 assessment roll.
Okay. Can I get a motion on the lateral 2 County Ditch 40 for the brush spraying?
So moved.
Commissioner Newman with the motion. May I get a second?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Nazca with the second.
Can I have discussion?
Discussion, yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
if you scroll down to the next picture. One more. And that's the deep side of the ditch, you
Correct.
said.
Yep.
And how much higher than normal is that? You said it was higher?
The estimate
Yeah.
for the half mile that it is, it's higher.
Okay,
But in the original estimate, since that section is so deep, they're gonna have to use spools. The spool, get off the four-wheelers and use the spool to get down in there and spray it.
okay.
So that's why they estimated it high, because they're really not sure how long it's gonna take. But we are gonna go on the south side and spray all the trees against the trees from the south and then spray against them from the north.
Okay.
But they'll likely have to use a reel. It doesn't look as deep as what it is from this picture, but it is quite deep in there.
And you can see why you had to leave the brush and so forth for the erosion part of it.
Yep, because it's really sandy and it would have sloughed right off if we had took all those trees out of there, or all the brush out of there.
Okay.
Sure.
Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, with that and discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the ayes have it.
All right, thank
Thank you,
you.
Nancy.
Thanks, Nancy.
We'll go on to number 7, planning and zoning. See what Adam has
Morning,
for us. Morning.
Good morning. Just the single item today, the Crow Wing River Watershed Implementation Fiscal Agent Agreement. Crow Wing SWCD is serving as the fiscal agent for implementation of the Crow Wing Watershed Comprehensive Watershed Management Plan, and each entity allocated fundings through the Watershed Partnership must sign the agreement prior to receiving reimbursements for grant funding. Options would be to adopt the attached agreement or do not. Recommendation is to adopt the Crow Wing River Watershed Implementation Fiscal Agent Agreement. This is similar to every other watershed we've been through. John reviewed this, and they reviewed his comments and then came back for approval by each entity now, so.
All right, perfect. Okay, I guess I'll need a motion to either way for the Crow Wing River Watershed Implementation Fiscal Agent Agreement.
I'll motion to adopt the attached agreement.
Commissioner Noska, can I get a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Becker with the second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. ayes
Thank
have it.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Go on number 8, solid waste. Mike. Morning.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, first item I have in front of you today is the elimination of the lead operator equipment position. Background on this is the new operations technician position budgeted for the fiscal year of 2025 will replace the lead equipment operator position. This role provides enhanced administrative support to the solid waste department in preparation to fill the new permit requirements for the new transfer station and environmental center. It is recommended to eliminate the lead operator position.
All right. Can I get a motion for the elimination of the lead operator position?
So moved.
Commissioner Newman, can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Noska. Any discussion? With no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Next one.
Yep, all right. The second item we have is the authorizing the hiring of a truck driver position. Background, the solid waste department approved the budget for 2025, included the addition of one full-time employee. This position will further enhance the efficiencies and meet the staffing demands of the department with the opening of our new facility in August of 2025. Upon board approval, the department respectfully requests to allow the HR department to advertise position for hire. Options are to authorize department to hire one full-time employee truck driver or do not authorize department to hire. It is our recommendation to allow the department to hire one full-time employee truck driver position. And this is a budgeted item.
Can I get a motion to authorize the hiring of a truck driver for the solid waste?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Newman. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Right now, we're limited on CDL drivers, correct?
That is correct. Yep.
Perfect. Hopefully we get some applicants in for it.
Yeah.
Okay. With discussion closed, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, ayes have it.
Okay, the third item is the purchase of product drop bins for the new facility. Background, in support of the new transfer station facility, we solicited bids for design and construction of product drop bins required for serving customers in the new facility. WasteQuip Incorporated did not submit a bid. They were too busy to meet demands. Protainer's bid was $36,750 with a 3-month lead time, and Jenkins Iron bid was $35,680. Purchase of the drop bins was discussed within our solid waste committee level. Options are to award the bid of $35,680 to Jenkins Iron or do not award the bid. It is our recommendation to award the bid to Jenkins Iron in the amount of $35,680. And this is budgeted through our Fund 51 and cap grant budget.
Okay. Can I get a motion for the purchase of product drop bins from Jenkins Iron for $35,680?
I'll make a motion.
A motion by Commissioner Noska. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. Any discussion?
Yes, I see that there's a steel surcharge on this. Does this lock in our bid, our price then? I mean, they can't raise the price again once we approve this, or can they?
Right, and it was, the surcharge was from Pro-Tainer. There was no steel surcharge from Jenkins Iron. So that was just a straight up rate. So it was, and also they were 3 months out lead time from Pro-Tainer and they weren't sure what they were gonna charge me. Also, they were talking about a tariff charge, which they wouldn't administer to us until they actually started building the product. Jenkins Iron was able to process these immediately so we could have them within a short period of time.
So there would not be additional surcharge?
No,
on
ma'am.
this? Okay, thank you.
Good question. Thank you. Okay. With that being said, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, approved.
Okay, and then the last item before you today is our WasteWorks software upgrade. Background is the Todd County Solid Waste Department currently uses WasteWorks software as its primary tool for tracking all daily transactions. Expansion of this vital software program is required in preparation of the new operational standards when the new transfer station becomes operational. The major enhancement will be the use of kiosk systems and communication capabilities available at both residential and commercial scale operations. The cost of this WasteWorks software is $31,592.29. Options are to approve the WasteWorks software upgrade or do not approve the WasteWorks software upgrade. It is our recommendation to approve the WasteWorks software upgrade in the amount of $31,592.29. And again, this is budgeted through our cap grant and Fund 51 source.
Perfect. Okay, can I get a motion for the WasteWorks software for $31,592.29?
So moved.
Commissioner Newman with the motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Noska. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chair, this will actually help speed up the process. Right now, we do not have this technology, correct?
That is correct, and also enhances our security, and also for like potential drive-offs, because they will actually have a license plate recognition that saves it to every customer that comes on. So if someone, we can look back and search that. But yes, it's going to be a really nice program for us to use. Yep.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, with that being said, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, approved for that.
Okay. Can I address the board real quickly?
Yeah.
Okay, just to give you a real quick update on the facilities, we finished curb and gutter. So they are busy doing black dirt work. So we are anticipating paving within the next 3 weeks. So things are moving along really well. We're 95% done with concrete work. They're installing the last of the structures for the storm sewer systems as well. So things are moving along, progressing pretty well. And then just another note on our remote bin sites. We are looking at paving our remote bin site in Bertram within the next 2 weeks and then get that fence. So we're moving along with that grant money as well for the Minnesota Great Recycle Grant. So I should see the roll-offs for them sites to be used here within the next 3 weeks. So just to give you a real quick update where we're at with things on that. All right?
Perfect.
And Mr. Chair, MPCA did contact you and the 2.8 million, right? It should be on its way.
That is correct. The last correspondence I had with Jeannie Givens was on the 21st of May. She was processing all the purchase items that we had submitted to them and contractual work on that 2.795 million, yes.
Yeah.
So I think they were anticipating somewhere 1,065,000 is what's due currently on pay requests. So we should see that shortly.
Yeah.
What shortly means, I don't know to them, but at least we did have some correspondence with them exactly, so.
And Representative Weiner did confirm that. I did get a text message from him and stating that MPCA is following through with their.
Yep, so that's good news.
Good,
Perfect. Thank you all for working hard on that. and
yeah,
Right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Mike.
Yep.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, with
Last
that one.
item would be 9.1.
Yep.
And it's for discussion item only, so I do not have a board action as it was amended and just added.
Okay.
So,
All right, yeah, we'll open up for discussion for item 9.1 for our resolution for sanctuary county discussion.
Yes, Mr. Chair, Friday night I received a call from Chair Byers, and he asked me if I had been watching the news or paying attention to what was going on. I said, no, was busy working all day Friday. He brought up the fact that Todd County made the news again, that we were a sanctuary county, and I said the only way we could resolve that probably is bring it to the board, have the full board do a resolution, and then pass that resolution and go forward. About 5 minutes later, or maybe even less than that, Sheriff Allen called me and basically said the same thing, and I told Sheriff Allen, I said the only way we can resolve that is full board do a resolution, pass it, make sure our I's are dotted, T's are crossed, and that we work with ICE and Homeland Security. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, I guess my comments are that I was surprised to see Todd County on the list, as I understand any past commissioner, present commissioner would never have voted or approved anything of that such. I mean, we all know what we support here in Todd County, and it's our locals and not illegals that come in. We definitely we want our law enforcement to assist in the removal of illegals, and if that's the case. So I feel like that's kind of a strong view in this county, and I don't think we should steer away from that, but making it formal, I guess if that's what we have to do to get off those lists, that's what we'll do.
And I also got a call from Bob and also from Tim, and my concerns exactly, and to do this the correct way and to bring it hopefully to the next board meeting so we can make a resolution, vote on it.
I'll add to that as well. Yeah, Friday was Friday afternoon. It was great to see everyone come together collectively. We had our admin staff, all the commissioners. We had some department heads got involved, and our sheriff's office. Everybody working diligently to try to figure out why we were on that list, how to get removed, and what are the processes. This is the second time now we've been put on there. So if this is what it takes to get us permanently removed from there, this is what we need to do going forward. But again, I just want to say thanks to everybody that was reaching out. Everyone's phones and emails were going crazy Friday afternoon, trying to get this sorted out. And I know it took away from people's family times and lives, but we thank you for understanding the importance of this and not wasting any time and just get to digging right away. I know everybody was working hard on it, so that's why it's here today, for us to show that we are not stopping until we get it fixed. So that's all I have for discussion on that as well.
I guess the request we would have Jackie, could you take the lead on this and maybe work with Attorney Lindeman and get something drafted up so we're confident in it and we can, hang our hat with it?
Yes, definitely, and have it ready for the next board
Yeah,
meeting.
that'd be great.
For action, you bet.
Thank you.
And I think the reason why we couldn't do a resolution today was because of the time frame.
Correct.
Yeah, it's too quick.
Is our deadline. We also want to make sure as commissioners that our I's are dotted, T's are crossed. I did have a long conversation with Representative Weiner. He is in full support of the board. He could not figure out why we made the list. So he was going to talk to Alpha News and make sure and just keep a follow-up on what we as a board are doing on this, so.
And we definitely see the same thing. This isn't just us that's unique. It didn't just happen to us. It happened to other counties. So it's a mistake with Department of Homeland Security. is what it is. And also they have pulled that list from their website as of I think yesterday or Saturday, because they were worried about all the repercussions now for their incorrect information that they projected to the public. So, I mean, take that to note.
Yep.
So this will be on our June 17th board meeting.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Also want to thank all the attorneys involved helping us release a statement and working on this as well, what we can stay within our legal bounds and what we can and cannot say and share. So just thanks everybody involved. Appreciate it. With that, we'll move on to standing reports. Auditor, treasurer.
Not much to report. We had our settlement from taxes. We took in over 20 million. Half of that stayed with the county. The other half of that was sent out and dispersed to all the entities. That would be townships, cities, school districts, special taxing districts. And then just to keep the board aware, I am gone all next week to a McCaffo conference. And then this Thursday starts the finance meetings for the summer. So we're gonna be busy in finance. That's all I have today.
Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate that. Coordinators report.
All right, I attended personnel meeting, mediation for our LELS deputies. I applied for a technology grant through a private foundation, attended a U.S. Solar informational meeting, went to the facilities meeting and the safety meeting, but mainly have been busy assisting with employee interviews.
Perfect. Thank you. Busy. Commissioners report. Who wants to start?
I can start.
Okay, we'll start with Luke.
For me, I guess mostly business as usual. We did have some union negotiations and some mediation, but those things are just gonna have to work their way out. We'll have to keep plugging away, and hopefully we can get through those union agreements with our employees.
Perfect. Commissioner Becker.
Yes, I attended the union meeting, facility safety, mediation, and then last Friday I had the Central Minnesota Emergency Management meeting. And I believe our director, Marion Larson, will be coming out and visiting each county because of funding. They're getting cut from the state. So it's amount of, if the counties are going to have to start putting in or start having, we're good for a year and a half to 2 years right now, but are the counties going to start stepping in and putting money into the region? So there'll be more discussion coming along that line.
Thank you. Commissioner Newman.
Yes, Mr. Chair. First off, I just want to say our thoughts and prayers from the board go out to the Bob Byers family. Bob's father passed away on Sunday, so our thoughts and prayers go out to them. I attended the Sauk River Watershed meeting, and then after that, I attended the One Watershed, One Plan for the Sauk River down in Sauk, and then attended the union meetings, and that's all I had, so.
Perfect. Everybody's busy. I was there. I had meetings with you all with the unions and the mediation, and I doubled up with some meetings with Jackie as well, personnel, and we're working through everything. Just a busy time of year. I'm glad we're starting the finance stuff. It's nice to gonna be getting ahead of things and trying to see what's coming, and some of the state funding's still up in limbo. So I appreciate everybody really working hard on that right away, just to try to hit it with a full head of steam and get it set before the end of the year, and just be prepared for whatever we got to take. So those discussions continue within every department and committee about where where we're going to be laying at as far as levy and whatnot. We're going to try to keep it down as low as we can, but I guess that we're going to see what we can and can't do with our budget. So appreciate everybody working on that as well. That is all I have for today's board meeting. We will ask for a motion to adjourn. Recess, sorry, motion to recess.
Motion to recess.
Commissioner Noska, may I get a second on that?
I'll have a second.
Commissioner Becker, the second. We are recessed and we'll start the work session in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Perfect. Thank you. Right on time, Tim. Look at that. 2 minutes to spare. Banking time.
Okay, everyone ready? Okay, time is 9:33. We're gonna open up the work session. Item 1 is Todd, Community Corrections with Kathy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, members of the board. This is a departmental update. I provided one in Wadena County a few weeks ago, and so the information is really exactly what I shared with the board there. I appreciate, too, Denise, you walking us through the screens so that everybody can look at it electronically as well. Okay, sure. If you could go to the map. So this is simply a map of, obviously, the state of Minnesota, but it's color-coded to show which counties are Department of Corrections supervision counties, which ones are county probation, which ones are transitioning to CCA, which is what we are. And then the green is CCA, Community Corrections Act counties. Todd and Wadena counties have been together through a joint powers organization since 1976, working together to provide probation, supervised release, juvenile diversion, sentence to service, since all those years, actually. So on the map, I would just point out that when I first started as the director, CCA counties were the minority. Most counties were DOC and/or CPO. And now, through the discussions, particularly that happened with the legislature and the legislative change to give equitable funding to all counties, many counties now are looking at going Community Corrections Act. And the big draw to that is then the counties get control over what kind of services and programming their corrections department provides. So Otter Tail County is the newest one who joined earlier this year. We're looking at Chisago, Brown, and Waseca coming in. Additionally, it's not indicated on the map, but Wright and Carver counties have started to take action as well to go CCA. So with Community Corrections Act, what happens is each county board at Todd Wadena Corrections, through our joint powers agreement, each county board vests interest in the Joint Powers Board, which is our Community Corrections Executive Committee. That committee is comprised of Commissioner Noska, who is our chair for our executive committee, Commissioner Becker, and then in Wadena County, it's Commissioners Ron Noon and Bill Stearns, as well as Kyra Ladd from the Wadena County Attorney's Office and Jane Gustafson from the Todd County Attorney's Office. So every month, the executive committee meets, conducting business very similar to each county board meeting. And that is who governs Todd Wadena Community Corrections. So I thought I would just share snapshots of what our caseloads and workloads looked like at the end of 2024. So this is a graph showing adult probation cases by county as of the end of the year. Our probation cases have trended down over the last few years, which can be a good thing, for sure. And it allows our agents to really specialize in the work that they need to do to make behavior change. Roughly 50% of our cases are felony level, about a third are gross misdemeanor, and then about 17% are misdemeanor. The vast majority are males, with about 80% males, 20 females, and the vast majority are Caucasian, 7% Hispanic, 3% African American, and 3% Native American.
The next chart shows our probation crime types. So in all of the charts the pie charts that we included, the first one is always Todd and Wadena counties together, the second one is Todd County, and the third one is Wadena County. So this shows that for Todd and Wadena counties combined, drug offenses and DUIs make up for sure 50% of our caseload, followed by the other bigger categories are assault-related, disorderly conduct, sex crimes, and thefts. The breakdown for Todd County itself is somewhat similar to how it's broken down between our two counties. Then going to the graph that says adult supervised release cases by county, these are folks who have been sent to prison, and prior to their getting released, the prison sends out a packet to the counties where the client had the most ties, whether it's ties residential or treatment or services received, and that county becomes number one. And then that county investigates the release plan. Typically, the county of commit is the fallback county. So if the other counties don't work out where the person is trying to get released to, the county of commit is the fallback county. Our numbers have stayed pretty steady on supervised release. And with supervised release clients, for instance, it is a bit different than probation clients. So probation clients answer back to the judge. If something is going wrong, there's a violation that needs to be addressed, it goes back to the judge. With supervised release, it goes to the hearings and release unit at the Department of Corrections. So there's a whole different set of rules that we have to follow with supervised release clients. The numbers have stayed steady, but the Commissioner of Corrections Minnesota Rehabilitation and Reinvestment Act, MRRA, was passed by the legislature, and we are looking at getting additional supervised releases out in the community sooner as a result of that. And what that act allows for is somebody in prison who is participating in programming or does a heroic act that saves lives or prevents injury, those folks will have a chance to get out of prison sooner. And so we do anticipate seeing an increase there. My understanding is that act will really start to take effect in September of this year. So our supervised releases, the pie chart, again, first one is Todd and Wadena counties. The largest category overall is sex crimes, and that is the same for Todd County as well, followed by drug offenses. People can get sent to prison right at sentencing. It can be a serious enough crime, and there can be enough criminal history that warrants a person going right to prison. But sometimes it happens while somebody is on probation and there is a serious enough violation that lands them in being committed to prison. Then if we go to the next graph, that is adult pretrial release, it'll show the pretrial release cases by county as of December 3rd. I think it's the next one, Denise? Oh, sure, thank you. So pretrial cases are those cases where somebody has not yet pled guilty. They've been charged with a crime, they're coming through the system, but they haven't been found guilty, haven't pled guilty, haven't been placed on probation. But the court has ordered that they follow some conditions. Typically, they are conditions like no alcohol, drug usage, random testing, no contact with the victim. So we supervise those cases that are put on pretrial supervision by the judge. The numbers have trended down over the last few years. Part of that, I think, is that we lost our dedicated pretrial supervision agent in 2023 and will now be fully staffed on June 9th. And we have not been fully staffed with our agents since 2023, except for a 2-month period last year. So we think that we will be able to provide more services in this area going forward. However, as you'll see when we talk about reports, the number of cases being placed on pretrial and coming through the system are fewer. Our pretrial bail evaluations that we do are down as well. So then if we look at the pie charts for pretrial crimes, you'll see that the first one with Todd and Wadena County's data shows that drugs and assaults do make up a significant portion of the pretrial crimes. The Todd County numbers are similar to our joint numbers with drugs, assaults on pretrial, and disorderlies. One thing I'll point out is that a disorderly conduct is, on paper, not one of our most serious offenses that we see. But what we do see sometimes is that in order to get a conviction, a plea agreement is entered for somebody maybe who was charged with domestic assault and has pled to a disorderly. I haven't been able yet to carve those out, but in future presentations, what I plan to do is I want to show you, okay, out of, these disorderly conducts, X number are as a result of plea negotiations to a disorderly from a domestic. With regard to the disorderlies who have pled down from a domestic, we do recommend and request that the court require them to do the same probation conditions as if they had been convicted of a domestic. So the services, the programming, the supervision is still the same. And then we go to juvenile probation cases. These numbers have risen over the last couple years. And some things just are cyclical. I remember, 15 years ago, our juvenile cases being really, really high. I also remember that there was a hotline in the state for treatment centers because beds were filled everywhere, and it was very hard to get a child into a residential placement. And then the trend switched, and numbers went way down. They are trending up again. About 22% of the cases that we had at the end of 24 were felony levels, and about 55% were misdemeanor. You will see on the pie charts that the offenses for which the youth are being placed on probation are pretty serious. Agency-wide and in Todd County, the largest category for juvenile probation cases is assaults, and the second largest category in Todd County is sex crimes. Then I thought I would show you the reports that we are required to do. So we do a lot of reports, lots of investigations, recommendations, but not all are required to be completed. So I'm only reporting to you what we have to do either by statute or statewide policy. Our pretrial bail evaluations are also known as our bond studies. These numbers are down, and that is kind of, I think, and we talked about this at our executive committee meeting last month, in part due to the bail reform, where Minnesota and the nation are looking at first option being release versus incarceration, posting bail, things like that. Bail studies have to be completed on certain offenses by statute. So we do all of those. We get our recommendations into the court. And then ultimately, if that person pleads guilty or is found guilty, we do pre-sentence investigations, which is the bottom graph showing, again, that our numbers are trending down in pre-sentence investigations. We know that can reverse and head back up at any moment. I also tried to include the relationship of methamphetamine to the cases that we work with, and in our pretrial investigations, about 18% are meth-related. In pre-sentence investigations, about 20% are meth-related. Next time, hopefully when I present before the board, I will have data about trends we see with regard to the different types of drugs that we see related to our clients' cases. To date, I can say that what we see most of is methamphetamine, marijuana, and alcohol. And then transfer investigations. These have to be completed when individuals who are on probation elsewhere in the state or in the country have decided that they are coming to Todd and Wadena counties. And we have to complete the transfer investigations. You can see the number goes up and down, and we were a little bit lower at the end of 2024. Prison release investigations they've been a bit lower than they were in 2018 and 2019. Again, we really have no control over this. It's whoever has requested to come and live in our counties. And sometimes it's people that our judges in Todd and Wadena counties have committed, but sometimes it's not. Maybe there's a relative here, a stable resident, something like that. With regard to the transfer investigations, about 27% are meth-related and about 32% meth-related for prison release investigations. And then the last graph that we have for reports is our juvenile predispositional investigations. This is similar to the pre-sentence investigation for adults, where when individuals have admitted to their offense in court, the judge will order a pre-sentence investigation for adults or a predispositional investigation for juveniles in many cases. We do a social history, a criminal history, look at substance, alcohol use, prior placements, alternatives for incarceration, and what would be appropriate recommendations for sentencing. And you can see our numbers have more than doubled in juvenile predispositional investigations from 23 to 24.
Excuse me, Kathy, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
That number, how is that divided between Todd and Wadena County? I mean, for the juvenile, the graph we were looking at with that high number of 31, do you have the breakout between Todd? You don't?
I
Okay.
don't, but I'll get that, Barb.
Okay, it should be just interesting to know if it's where the breakout is between the two counties.
We do see, I mean, I did look at it, and I wish I would have written it down, but I will, and I'll get that to you. But I think they are consistent in increases.
Okay,
I do know
kinda
that
comparable then.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And then the last set of graphs that we have is regarding our Community Concern for Youth program. The top graph shows the number of cases that we had at the end of each year. They go up and down. The bottom chart shows really kind of where our referrals are coming from. Most of them are coming from the county attorney's offices after they receive citations or police reports from law enforcement. And then the county attorney's offices decide whether to forward that on to us. This is our juvenile diversion program. And the intent of this program, and it's actually been going on since prior to community corrections. CCY started in 1975. And the idea is if we can work with kids and help them build skills to turn things around, to stay out of the system, they're better off and everybody's better off. The last thing we want to do is have a child have a court file attached to their name that follows them. And so we've had a lot of success with our CCY program, and I'm looking forward to many years of having that program in the future. That is always contingent on state funding as well. And this summer is one of those years where we have to apply for grant funding again from the state, and it's competitive. We are being told that the number of applicants are going to substantially increase. And so I'll be talking with our executive committee about, how we move forward should we see a reduction in that state funding. Then the next sheet is a handout that shows our STS work sites and the hours completed at them, and then a potential dollar value of that work completed. This is the same worksheet that commissioners had a chance to look at when we had the legislators here. We've had discussions at our department head meetings in both counties where other department heads have spoken up and shared the value of STS and how a lot of work that gets done in the counties is done by STS. And I feel very supported. I feel that our STS program is very supported. We do, however, have some work to do regarding moving forward. We got official notice at the end of the week before last that our state funding is going to be terminated as of June 30th. So our executive committee meets next week, and in the coming months, the executive committee will be looking at how we move forward for the rest of 2025, and then how we move forward in 2026 and what that looks like. So that the board knows, I would like to share that
I think so. Was it June 30th that they cut the funding?
June 30th, right?
June 30th.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So what that means for us is roughly a loss of $26,000 for 2025. The grant that we received was $51,000 plus for the full year. And so we'll basically get half of it for this year. I wanted to let the board know too that we have one full-time crew leader, Lee Miron, and then we have 3 part-time crew leaders, totaling a full-time equivalency of 0.75 for the part-time crew leaders, and then 1 for Lee. So 1.75 FTEs to run the STS program, to do the crew leading. That does not include the administration and the background work that has to be done. We had our MACAC meeting last week, which is our corrections directors meeting, Minnesota Association of Community Corrections Act Counties. And we asked a lot of questions about STS, and we need some answers yet. But with the contracts ending June 30th, we want to know what kind of requirements the state might still have for us in terms of the types of projects that we do. I want to make sure that when I'm presenting to the county going forward with STS, that I can say whether or not we can shape it a little bit differently to meet our needs or not. Additionally, I learned that the statute that covers injuries on the STS crew is still in effect. That was not messed with at the legislative session. So what that means is if somebody on our crew gets hurt, one of the crew members, we file an incident report with the Department of Corrections, and they send that incident report and related medical bills to the legislature to get covered by a special pot of funding. That is still in effect. So we're still waiting to learn whether or not, like, some of the requirements that X% of our work has to be done for the state, or we need to have X hours in this area, whether or not we're still held to that. So I'll know more in the future.
One question
Yeah.
for you. So with that being said, do you think that if I'm going to say the requirements were let back by the state, do you think you'd have more opportunities to do more work or more things around the two counties, or do you think it would kind of
I do.
change things? Yeah.
I do.
Okay.
We're some of the ideas that were talked about at our MACAC meeting were very simple things, like obviously with the state funding, the agreement that we have with the DOC for STS, we have to make sure that we can't say yes to every project. That, it has to be for the public good, for governmental agencies, nonprofits, things like that. But some of the programs are looking at things like, what if you have a community snow removal day, and in that community, residents know that the crew is going to be out, and particularly those who might not physically be able to do some shoveling, private citizens can reach out for help.
Request that, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Another thing that came up at our MACAC meeting was some counties talked about being prepared for those counties whose STS programs have shut down to maybe be reaching out to neighboring counties to see if some partnerships can't be formed there. Okay. I do know that, like, with regard to our neighboring counties, Morrison County has shut down their STS crew. To the east of us, I believe Cass is still going, Hubbard is still going. Otter Tail is not operating STS right now, although I'm not sure that means that they have shut their program down. Douglas County is operating very low numbers. Stearns County hasn't had STS for many years. So, I'm not sure what kind of opportunities are out there.
Okay. Yep.
But there are. I mean, it's terrible news to lose funding anytime that happens, but who knows? Maybe there are some opportunities there as well. Then
Kathy, can I ask you a question? What part of the budget is STS right now? Do you have those numbers figured out? I know we haven't done the budgeting yet, and maybe that will be coming yet, but.
I don't have the percentage,
Okay.
Commissioner, figured out. We are, Megan and I are working nonstop on the numbers. It's a moving target because we just found out the exact number that we'd lose in STS. I'm still waiting to hear what our supervision funding from the state of Minnesota cut will be. I don't know that yet.
And that, the process is just starting to get started now, yeah.
Yeah.
But we do know there will be more cuts coming.
Yeah, we do. And I apologize for not knowing the percentage. I will have that data at the ready. I know there will be a lot more conversations on it. I can say that program costs roughly 300,000 to run STS, as is. And that includes, the 51,000 that we get a year from the state, or that we did. And if we have a 1.7, $1.8 million budget, I have not run the numbers on that.
Yeah.
I'm excited to share some outcome information about the work that we do. Looking at adult probation and the 264 clients that were discharged in 2021, and then looking at how many of those folks were convicted of new crimes, we had 36, so only 14% got new crimes, which I'm happy about. I have other data to compare this to, but not at the ready. And I'm hoping that in the future, with the help of the Department of Corrections, that we'll be able to compare our data to statewide data. There is no uniform statewide data on recidivism right now. Unfortunately, that was a big discussion also last week at our MACAC meeting, and it does sound like that there is going to be some money that the DOC will be using to create a statewide database, so that when Todd Wadena counties talk about recidivism and we can compare it to the state, we're apples to apples. For instance, right now, some counties measure new crimes as new felonies only, and that's not what we're measuring here. We're looking at targeted misdemeanor or higher. Adult supervised release, for those folks, those 16 folks who were discharged, completed their sentence in 2021. 14 were not, 2 only were convicted of new crimes. So 88% had no new convictions. Juvenile probation, 90% had no new convictions. Community concern for youth, 97% had no convictions for crimes in the 3 years that they were discharged. That's pretty consistent. We've run the data in CCY forever, and it's routinely above 94% where those kids don't come into the system, which is really, really a good thing and what we all want. I forgot to mention too at the beginning, but as you have a chance to go through this or think about, our discussion today, if there is other data that you'd like, in addition to what, Commissioner Becker requested, if there's other data that you like, that you need, that is important to you to make decisions, please let me know, and we'll focus on that. And if some of this stuff is not necessarily helpful, I welcome that feedback as well, because I want to get you what you want and need. So if we look at the last sheet, this is regard to some of our programming that we do. So we looked at recidivism, again, for our men's group, and this is our men's domestic violence group that we've been running since 1997 in Staples. So we captured those folks who successfully completed in 2015. 11% or 3 of those clients were convicted of new crimes. Unfortunately, all 3 were felony domestic assaults. That is sometimes the nature of that. Those are very serious offenses. I want to be able to get more data to you so that not only in those folks discharged or completed in 2015, but in all the years. So you can see the trends too. And so we can see, like, maybe something, what, do we need to do something different? How do we explain certain trends? And then we looked at the men's group successful completions in 2019, and 3 of those were convicted of new crimes following completion of group. Then we looked at our women's group. This is a cognitive behavioral group specifically for women. It can also serve as the domestic violence statutorily required program, and our judges do sentence women who are convicted of a domestic violence offense into our cognitive behavioral group for women. So out of the women completing in 2019, we had 6 women complete the group in 2019. 1 was convicted of a new crime. And then we had 12 women complete the group in 2021, and for the first 3 years, none of those were convicted of a new crime. So again, as you think about this data, if you need more, let me know, or different data. It's exciting for me to be able to give you what you need.
Kathy, I've got one more question. What is the Todd Wadena split right now for budget-wise? Because it's not a 50-50 split, it's a
60-40,
60-40 split,
it is,
60% Todd,
yes.
and Wadena County puts in 40%.
Yep, and how we get there, each year we look at the statewide probation survey. That is something that the Department of Corrections runs on every county. It can't be manipulated by us. It's the data they give us. We look at that. We look at county populations. We look at caseloads. And while I don't have the final budget ready to present to the executive committee, it is looking like it'll be the same for 2026. I appreciate the time. I'm sorry I took so much time, too.
No, that's great.
This is good.
Mr. Chair, I got a question. Of these numbers, how many of them are generational?
I don't know. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm really curious on that, and I'm also curious by looking at the numbers, how the numbers are decreasing. So either people are starting to behave themselves, or we're not enforcing stuff within the courts. And I'm gonna be very careful on that, but, you know, when I read the paper and case dismissed, it makes me question, you know, why are these cases being dismissed? And why is the state cutting funding for sentences served? Why? If there's a need. I mean, I was going up north on Sunday, and I met a crew, I believe, out of the Togo Correctional Facilities. They were picking up ditches on County Road, or State Highway 65 on a Sunday. So I don't get it.
Commissioner, I don't get it either with regard to the state funding, although I mean, I think everything is a target right now. At our MACAC meeting last week, I asked the Deputy Commissioner of Corrections if there were specific pots of money that were in jeopardy. Specifically, like, we get grant funding for reimbursement of psychosexual assessments, which are very expensive. We get reimbursement for polygraph testing, and I was told everything's on the table right now. But with regard to what's happening in the court system, I do see and feel that our justice partners are doing the best that they can. and are arresting, when appropriate, prosecuting, getting convictions when appropriate, and I think we have a, we have judges who are responsive, to the whole system.
Okay.
And we have regular court coordination meetings where justice partners are able to talk about these very things, and problem solve. I don't know, what's happening, that, the cases are fewer. We see that, with our jail population as well. Although recently, in the last, few weeks, the numbers have gone up, and how I know that is because the request for bond studies, pretrial bail evaluations has gone up. So I think that would be a fascinating discussion to have some time with the justice partners.
Yeah, because it's really getting interesting if you look at it, because the county attorney wants another attorney, and then we look at the numbers are going down. And then you read the paper and you see the catch and release, and I'm, yeah.
I think there's many factors with that, but also, our Kathy always has information on how the youth, like right here, 97% of the youth are staying out of trouble. As you have programs like this set up, I think it's important that Kathy does a great job, her and her staff, educating and showing people that there's a better life, a better way to do things, and that data shows that repeatedly, along with county attorney's office, we're getting more incidents outside of this department. I think that's the need for that as well. Like I said, everything else is getting so touchy in this world. But again, as far as or the numbers going down, I personally want to believe that's just because of the programs like this put in place that are giving these kids the chance to succeed in life and give them a second chance. So, like I said, when I look at this and see 1 out of 66, that's pretty, or one that was a gross misdemeanor, one was a misdemeanor. The 2 convicted of new crimes. That's a huge win for everyone involved, and so I just want to thank you for everything you guys do, and for Lou and Barb and Jane sitting on that board and helping with these decisions. That's it's a tough ask, and appreciate you guys all working through this whole budget crisis with the state and everything. So this is a great update. I really do greatly appreciate all the time and effort you put into it, and I can tell you care, and so thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the board. It's a pleasure and an honor to be able to have these conversations with you and do the best that we can.
Absolutely. All right.
Thank you,
Well, with
Kathy.
that,
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you. Do a quick discussion, or?
I think you can close it, right?
I'd say, do you want to do a discussion on that, or being that we put it on the board, do we need to discuss? Or?
I didn't know if you were going to have a discussion on what you want typed up on that sanctuary, or if you're just leaving it up to the attorney.
I think we get the legal counsel on that first.
I do too.
Yeah.
Let's go with the board.
What do we need to say? I don't. What actually needs to be in there? I don't know.
And just kind of an overview too, on Friday, AMC initially also sent out a message to the 20 odd counties that appeared on the list in Minnesota. And they gave guidance about who to reach out to in email. So along with County Attorney Lindeman and Sheriff Mike Allen, I did reach out to that email to send a initial email just stating to them, that we needed immediate clarification because to our knowledge, our board and commissioners had never taken action to adopt any type of policy or warrant being on the list. I received an email back from Department of Homeland Security less than 2 hours later, basically stating that it's usually related to 4 factors. It's self-identification, non-compliance with federal law enforcement, restrictions on information sharing, or legal protections for illegal aliens. All of those items, Sheriff Allen had assured me already, along with Sheriff Allen, that we didn't fall into any of those categories. The Homeland Security basically says, respond back that you wish to be removed from the list and we will work with you. So I'm copying in Sheriff Allen and County Attorney Lindeman, and I'll just respond to that email saying, yes, please work with us to do what you need to get us off the list. And then in the meantime, I can work with County Attorney Lindeman on the resolution if you'd like, prior to prep it before the meeting.
Yeah.
That'd be great. That sounds perfect.
Okay. All right.
Okay, with that being said, we're gonna mention one more thing about Commissioner Byers, or again, like Mr. Newman said, our thoughts and prayers are with him, and if anyone has any questions for the chair, please just come to me for a while here, to let Bob give him some time to deal with his family and some issues that are coming forth. So other than that, thank you all. We are adjourned, recessed, we're done. We're done. Have a great day. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.